Um, this is Kobe with Phoenix Hip Hop Podcast, and I'm here with Lord Ra. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's a great morning.
Thanks for making the time today. We're going to be going through your project, Akata. Is that how you say it? Akata?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And that's would you just describe that? It's like an EP, right? Is that how you
Yeah, I
describe
would
it?
describe it as yeah,
Okay.
quick
Okay.
little quick little joint.
When did you actually drop that?
That was earlier earlier last month in February. So like
Okay.
the what was that, like the 7th? Might be off like on my own shit. But yeah, I'll be working on so much shit I'll be like losing track of time. That's why I had to get that one out in February. But yeah,
Okay.
just came out.
And just out of curiosity, like when did you work on it? Like the difference between when you recorded it versus when you released it.
So I would like to say it's been a brain baby for 2 years, and then I officially started working on it early last year.
Okay.
Um, but it started with me and my boy Brutus. So Brutus and me, we wanted to do like this very like Afrocentric album that kind of focused on African deities and orishas, and it really led me into like just wanting to delve into the African side of like my American ass identity. So I decided to do it with these 5 tracks right here, the most concise way I could find.
Okay. Got it. Cool. Yeah, so we'll jump right in. So you sent me the lyrics in the first I know that I think there's like an intro, but the first song you sent me is Fly. Your take on these. So starting with Fly, can you just give some maybe background or context to some of this stuff?
Uh, Fly, Fly in general is a song just about, I guess like how a lot of Black American males feel in America. Just
Okay.
that's like you're viewed a certain way and you're villainized for wanting to like one better yourself and then like two being good at it. So like being fly in general is like a problem, and like just having goals set. Like even that first line, the whole like clock and green villainized. Like you know
Clock and green, Clementine, villainized. Man of the people, never let the morals subside.
literally, like I grew up poor a good majority of my life. So like money is a top priority and something that is like on my mind a lot. But I've also seen it get turned around to kind of like villainize like my intentions with certain things, which I delve into later in the verse. So with the whole like uh man of the people, never let the morals subside. So it's like as much as like my goals are centered around like capitalism to some degree, I still know who I am and I still know my community. And for the most part, these goals are to better those two things.
Okay. Is there ever, I mean, it's such a cliche thing, but I mean, I just want your take on it. Do you ever have a conflict with, sort of the art side of it and the business and financial side?
It, it's honestly one of the biggest things like with making art. I would say in the modern age, money has always been a problem inside like the art community, but art is going through a recession as is the rest of the world. So it's like, yeah, that's definitely like a big point of contention and conflict, and just wanting to keep things as pure as possible while also understanding that I need to maintain some sort of like fiscal viability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
FaceTime, I ain't impressed, too cheap to get the waist on. My leather belt got notches with some stripes behind it.
Um, I ain't impressed too I ain't impressed too cheap to get the waist iron. My leather belt got notches with some stripes behind it.
Right, right, right. Um, there's a there's a certain like again like playing into the idea of like being really good at achieving your dreams and like that like how other people will react to that based on your archetype. So for a lot of people, especially in the rap game, like being successful here can get like very, very violent to some degree, depending on like your background, who you associate with, or just in general, like how sloppy you may move or like how hungry people in your general vicinity are. So the whole like, you know what I mean? Like everyone has a 40 on their G's, everybody got a gun, everyone has some sort of capacity for violence. But me personally, like just not too impressed because that's been my life. So it's like, yeah, like I've seen things. Like I got some notches on my belt. So it's like, for as much as that is a scary outcome that may or may not happen, I just know personally, like I'm willing to handle those things. Not to make it seem like I'm out here just in the streets rough and rugged, but
Yeah.
when shit hits the fan, I know which way to dodge type of, you know,
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of thing. I feel like it was a good breakup, like after Fly, because Fly is, well, shit, Slurred, the opening track, and then Fly are like very heavy. So I thought theme music was like a good, uh, was a good middle point of what I'm trying to get across with those two, which is like I'm still very proud of myself, regardless of like what I've been through.
Okay. And this one too, I mean, for me, anyways, it has a little bit of a braggadocious like tone to it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, tell a bitch, wait a minute, tell a sucker mind his business. I'm
Oh
that
God. Oh God.
that God body should look divine interest. Never find me slipping. Like it.
I'm cold patient with it. Tell a bitch to wait a minute. Tell a sucker mind his business. I'm that nigga. God body, she look divine interest. Never find me slipping, never tripping.
Just
Never
like
tripping.
even just reading the, I mean, of course, I heard the song, so I don't know how I would have processed it if I hadn't heard the song, but it just has
Mm.
that, like, hey, I'm right here, I'm right here. You know, it's, so was that kind of the intention a little bit?
Yeah, so that was like one of the, yeah, the theme music was actually like one of the last few songs I ended up recording last year for the project. And yeah, like I said, like I was listening to like the other tracks that I had for it, and I was like, ugh, it's like it's a bit weighty, but like I want people to understand, like again, I'm that nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like regardless, like, so yeah, like I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one of my favorite things about hip hop is just like those braggadocious lines. As a like as a kid, you know, insecure kid that you know felt uncertain about myself in many ways. Listening to rap that was more braggadocious and confident, like that was my first connection to it. It was like, all right, like you know, I don't have to feel you know scared or uncertain in this situation. Like not that not that listening to Protect Your Neck would really make me be able to fight someone, right? But like it would give me I also grew up, you know, a low income you know, and I, you know, lived in some kind of sketchy areas and I would, you know,
Mm,
at times I was actually scared to go outside. And so I would listen to, you know, kind of braggadocious songs and it would just sort of put me in a mind frame that's like, hey, like, you know, don't worry about it type of thing. And so really, yeah, I really like this one. Perception got you fucked up. Walls closing, and I like walls closing in. Um, he was Motorola soldiers. What is the reference to Motorola?
Clear perception got you fucked up, walls closing in. We was Motorola soldiers back when I was 10.
that was the first phone I'd ever got. My auntie got us all phones for this one Christmas, like when we were real young. So
Okay,
that was just a line for my cousins, really. Like, we was Motorola soldiers back when I was 10. If I love you,
okay,
then I told you that we for the win.
I got you. Okay. And then I have to ask you about the how it closes out because I don't know. I really like these really like these two lines. So the heart got warmer with some hot tears. Sometimes you just appreciate you still here.
Mm. Uh,
Too.
shit. So like that was a good. I was trying to find like the perfect way to like end in a summary. So pretty much you could take them last two lines as like a summary for the whole song. Like
Okay.
just like there's a lot of pain, there's gonna be a lot of strife, and just like, you know what I'm saying. But the it warmed my heart up ultimately, and I hope that does the same for the people. Like what I've been through has opened up my heart to like speak and put the art together the way that I do, and I just appreciate that I'm still here to do that. You know what I'm saying? We lost some people along the way and shit. So
Our next song, Moneybag Yo, which has a feature, and I'll man, when I heard is it pronounced Yasuki?
yeah, Yasuke. or
Yasuke.
Yasuke. I say Yasuke, but
Yasuke. Okay. That dude is nice. That dude is nice with it. Like his rap voice, his lyrics, and he has this line. I was like, damn, tell the Grim Reaper, something like, I'm not gonna
yeah, yeah.
fuck off, I'm not dying. I'm like,
Top lying. I told God to shut the fuck up and got silence. I told the Grim Reaper, fuck off, I'm not dying. Third out like shut.
what the? I'm like, damn.
Bro's
Like
a beast.
that line is crazy.
Beast.
And so I'm listening, I was playing this on Spotify the first time I heard it. And you know how it'll show you like which artists are on, right? So like I go to artists, I'm like, who is it? Who is this dude? Try
Right.
to find his stuff, nothing. I couldn't find him anywhere. Then I DM him, I'm like, hey man, I heard that verse, I really like it. I can't find any of your stuff though. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I need to get on that. So I mean, hopefully I hope to chat with him at some point, but until I do, I mean, is he sort of like just getting started, or like why can't I find him anywhere?
So look, I hope you're not mad at me for this one, but like we be trying to bully that man, like yo, because obviously you heard one verse. This man has a grip of them shits, and he's insane, man. Like he a little younger, so I feel like it might be a thing of like he's confident in his ability, but I don't think he's confident taking that step of like showing it to people because like art is your baby, you know. You don't want nobody to
Yeah.
judge your baby and shit. So, but because I would love to have y'all talk too. Bro is an insane artist. That's why I even wanted to put him on the song. Like, and it was for moments like that, so people could be like, so me and the homies aren't the only ones pressuring him to be like, yo, put that music out where people can see it, put it out, put it out, put it out, put
Yeah.
it out.
Yes. Yes. Is he also like local to the area, or is he somewhere else?
My boy is actually from Milwaukee, so he
Okay.
he he moved back pretty recently, but he was out here for a little while, like while he was getting that done.
Okay. Got it. All right. So yeah. So let's get into to your verse here. So I mean, I'm gonna ask you about some of the lyrics, but like overall conceptually, what was what does this mean to you, this song?
Um, Imagine me and Yasuke throwing on ski masks, jumping the White House fence, and then just kicking in the door. That was that was a big part of that one. Yeah, it was supposed to. I kind of wanted to come off like a movie. I played a lot with the like background sound effects on that one too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. You did. I like it too. All right. Yeah. It's pretty. These lyrics are pretty aggressive. Crack his nose. He ain't lose his sense of smell. The lesson or the L choose Velcro. Stick to a code. That's how you stack dough. Hand over fist. Trying to mold. Make a good living. Just doing what you want. I mean, I said a few lines, but like, can you talk a little bit about some of those lines?
um, shit, I was going crazy on that verse. I'm not gonna lie to you. What I said, yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, like I said, like I wanted to like read very like cinematic. So, like when I break in, I'm like, where the money bags at? Like, what we doing, man? Like, empty the
Yeah.
pockets. Like, you know what I'm saying? He tried, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker might try to play hero. Got one elbow to the nose. He good though. He all right. He can still smell things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just going through like a very like frantic scene and trying to just make it sound like real smooth on some like
Yeah.
on some Biggie shit, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Biggie was like the master doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. And then it ends. Free the land.
Mm.
What does that mean to you?
Shit. Um, no one is free until we all free. And from what I know is like it seems like we got the same enemy, which is a government that doesn't necessarily care for its people, especially those that are poor, of color, you know what I'm saying, female, like any any intersection you can like think of that has been deemed as unfavorable, like it's been shown like pretty aggressively they don't give a shit. So it's like
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, yeah, free us all, man. Free Phoenix, free America, Palestine, the Congo, the world, free the world.
For it's real. What's the concept behind this one?
So older black folks, they're like very religious and kind of I kind of just wanted to play with my thoughts on it. Like I don't feel like I have the most concrete thoughts. I'm only 23 years old and my experience with the church hasn't been too favorable and like I just didn't want to come down too hard. I just wanted to give my honest opinions. Like it's like the lambskin bar, like the whole like, you know what I'm saying? Like how everything I wear is like sacrilegious. I'm like, because if you really read that Bible, which I did at a certain point in my life, I'm like, a lot didn't make sense. And that was just one of the things that I thought I could make like a little light jab at that wouldn't be too crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And I made that joint with my uncle and mine, who I recently passed, my auntie Vaughn's husband Tim. So I dedicated that joint to him and shit. And because I feel like his brain kind of worked the same way. Like we only spent the summer together for the most part before he had passed, but I feel like his brain molded and shifted, and I would see him talk to my auntie or argue sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, like yeah, we the same dude, just like 40 years apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you? I mean, I assume this, but I don't want to assume. Based on like other projects like Halal Boys and the reference to Kufi. Are you a Muslim?
Uh, I would say, I guess I wouldn't claim it just because like for instance, like it's Ramadan right now, and Uh, this would be my third one in my life, but this year I'm not participating due to like a lot of extraneous factors. So I would say I'm practicing, but I would give myself time to like fully sink into the Muslim title. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Just to be fair to like people who actually like practice and
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like put that dedication in.
The reason I want to ask you because you just mentioned sort of your experience in the church, which I'm assuming like a Christian church, and I just want to. I'm someone who's like explored a lot of different faiths, and I have sort of my own practices and things like that. I wanted to ask you, did your experience with Christianity, they're both Abrahamic religions,
Mm.
influence how you view your Islamic faith, or was your experience with Christianity so different that it doesn't even seem similar?
Yeah, I would say they're so different they don't even seem similar. And that was like a lot of what attracted me to even want to like dedicate parts of my life to that further was just realizing there can be like some sort of faith focused around like family in a real way and just it seemed like there was a lot of focus on just knowing people and like respecting human nature to some degree in a
Yeah,
lot of the doctrine. And again, like I don't say this to like preach the Quran to anybody, but just from like my interpretation, what I've taken from it is like it's very focused on the things that I care about in life and just seemed a lot more in tune than when I was in the church like that.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, in hip hop, I've known, I mean, goes without saying, but there's so much influence, from Islam, where there's Brother Ali, right? More underground. There's Vinny Paz from Jedi Mind Tricks. I used to listen to old Jedi Mind Tricks, and he was like very aggressive and violent, with his faith, through his music. And
Dripping from your faces, find beauty in the Quran and all of its Aramaic equations.
just in general, how how has how has Islam been an influence on your music? Not just this project, but in general.
Uh, Damn, it's gonna sound a little bit crazy. It gave me a framework on how to deliver how I see things spiritually.
Okay.
So like even you know what I'm saying, the law is just another word for God, you know? So it's like to use this word and like to me it feels like in a very like Afrocentric sense to like invoke it as Allah feels more at home because I do believe in like a higher power, you know what I'm saying? I do believe in blessings, things of that nature. It's like I just can't always explain it the way someone else would. Like, oh, God is just looking out for us, and like I think it's more so of a working relationship than it would be like father to children. Because I don't think something as benevolent or as divine would create something that wouldn't be capable of like taking instruction. in any way. Like it would need to be guided and not like told like, yo, these are the ways to do things. And then just interpreting them and like moving on with their life. Like I think my guy will have enough respect for me, basically, like to realize like I got my own autonomy a little bit.
Yeah, I got you.
We sacrilegious, had lambskin, you know, the shirt linen, rocking golden jackets like a Miami winter. Like, so during the time of year when I was recording these bars, it was like cold outside. And that's how I was dressing, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of funny, like, to think, like, you know, like the stereotypical picture of like Miami in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I'm
big
from
ass.
Florida. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Oh, okay, boom. Yeah, so you get it. Like, like yeah, like
It's a
just
whole aesthetic. It's a whole aesthetic.
so a whole that's really like, yeah, like really the whole bar was just like kind of breaking down like again, like that whole idea of like all these things on my body would be seen as like a sin. But I'm like, if anything, I'm looking godly right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all this gold dripping on me, man. Big ass puffer coat, big ass logo 7 on my back. This shit go crazy.
Yeah.
And then like to damn, how did I end that shit? Yeah, so like the leafy green or Kyoto is like we got a tree to pick from. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot of decisions and like in this lifetime. So it's like you can choose to do a lot of things. And like that was just like my funny way of like being like, well, I got this kind of weed, I got this kind of weed. We got decisions. You know what I'm saying? These are the decisions I'm making at this point in my life. I'm blessed to be able to make those decisions, like what
Yeah.
pack I want to choose from.
Well, you know what I mean, what I would like about this, you know, is as you described this song, it's like it's very interesting to me because you're this is a personal and serious song, but also you're able to have lines like that as well. You know what I mean? It's like not every track has to be so, I don't know how to describe this, but like you're kind of you're kind of having fun with lyrics and references to aesthetics, but at the same time, right? You in the same song, when the old woman's having visions. Actually, I don't know if that would be related to the next line, but yet you have, my uncle died, humble hands buried deep, clench his spirit. You got to send for what you need. We getting near it. Stories told everlasting, never had an ending. This is your world, baby girl. I'm just a lapse in it. Your insults was never rare. And who don't like chicken? Now, when you told me earlier, like, yeah, it's, you kind of mentioned the dynamic between, your uncle and was it your aunt? You said the watching. Is that
Yeah.
okay? Yeah,
My bad, my auntie Vaughn.
your auntie. Yeah. So when you say like, and who don't like chicken, like that makes you think, okay, maybe that's like a personal, like sort of argument or whatever it was. But it's just like, again, it's like, death and, mourning, someone is a very serious thing, but you're also pointing out, you're reflecting on some of those things that, you saw. Can you talk a little bit about sort of finding, I don't know if finding the balance is the right way to frame it, but just approaching something where you're, I don't know how to ask this question. Do you understand kind of what I mean? As far as like you have serious lyrics, but also it's not all that serious, but it is. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think being a black person in America is a dark comedy. So
Okay.
I approach all my music that way. Like even that the bar you just mentioned, I'm so glad we got to talk about that. It's one of my favorite from the project was you know what I'm saying? Like your insults was never rare. Who don't like chicken? That was actually more so about just again, like kind of going back to that view of like the church and just the church people I was around. It was some racism, man. I'm from a red state, you know what I'm saying, from out here, like from you know what I'm saying, from Phoenix, Arizona. So like I feel like I've heard a good variety of what people would have to say about black people and like so it was kind of like a little joke thrown back, like, man, who don't like chicken? Like even the bar after that, I'm like, the dead Europeans brought a bird with them. Like
Yeah.
explorers brought chickens on them ships over here. I'm like, a lot of things that we see as American food are started on a European ship, like cows, things of that nature, like burgers and all that, steaks. Like it's very European shit. So like to have that be like one of our stereotypes, like we love chicken it's hilarious to me. It's like in a dark way, like it's hilarious. Like we invent this shit, like you know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
funny. Like I just thought it was funny.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, just understanding like the precursors to like a culture or something like that, and it's like it's related in so many different ways. Like it's wild. You know what I mean? Like to
Facts.
to even have like a description of a certain culture, it's like sure, you know, that's the culture. What preceded what preceded that, and like how are those things related? And is there's so much complexity. You know what I mean? Or it seems like that.
No, for sure. Like that was I think that was the biggest problem in trying to I wanted to make this project longer, honestly. But there was like it's almost like for as much as like we have to dig through to like understand things in these lyrics and like just these 5 tracks right here, like I feel like it would have been even more of like a slog and like kind of at the end of the day, the message would have got lost trying to make this any longer. So I added a lot of like there's double meaning to literally almost every bar
Okay.
on Akata. Like you know what I mean? And yeah, this track was like a big one for that for sure.
All right. So this one, yeah. So maybe talk a little bit about that. So right, it's called Easy Chair now. When I think of an easy chair, you know, I do think of maybe like an older person with a recliner or something like that. And then, you know, at the last minute, you said, you know, you added for your elders. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Um, yeah, so like when I was focusing on the lyrics in that song while listening to it before uploading, I was like, yeah, like I've been provided a level of like comfort, stability, knowledge of self, and I kind of get to relax on a lot of that. Even like certain lessons I've been taught by my elders. So like, but it all came with like again like just the dark comedy element. It all came with like pains that they've told me about, and, like just mistakes that they've made. So even that opening line, like I'm reclining blood diamonds in my easy chair. Don't check the line and what's behind it. Got to meet me there. Like
I'm reclining blood diamonds in my easy chair. Don't check the line and what's behind it. Gotta meet me there.
it's cushy. It feels nice to lay on. You know what I'm saying? It feels nice to have like support my back and shit. But let's not look too deep into you know what I'm saying the magic of the chair because a lot of tears start rolling. You know.
All right. Some of the lyrics here. I be doing all my work. I grew up blind. I was scared they see me first. Kept hiding. I also undersell my worth, but I know who I am.
I be doing all the work, I grew up blind. I was scared they see me first, a nigga kept hiding. I also understand my worth, but I know who I am.
It I was just blind to like how interesting, how talented, how a lot of things, you know, just based because my family's very humble. So like we don't it's not like we necessarily speak down on ourselves, but I guess we don't talk about ourselves in the greatest light either. So it's just taking a moment to like kind of explain that about me, like even explaining like the last couple of tracks and like just my braggadocious nature. Like a lot of this shit was earned and like understood about myself over time. Like and I used to be like really scared that other people would make that up for me or see me first. Like, oh, you're not a rapper, bro. You just following what your cousin does, or like, oh, you're not that nice, bro, because da 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 da. Like, so I used to just keep it all to myself. I started off writing poems, and like my little emotional ass, I would go to the park after school every day and just sit on the bench and like just crack a poem out, go shoot some hoops, crack another poem out, and then go home. But I never told my friends about it. I never really told my teachers. I just told my mom I'm rapping for real, like probably like when I was like 16. And I've been making music my whole life, you know.
This one has a second verse. Every let's see, Nicole's. I mean, I assume these are personal references. Nicole's oldest, Traylon Frazier, who survived Cobras. Every decade, just a lawnmower. What's the
Sir.
What's the lawnmower reference?
Um, so you know that term like snakes in the grass, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Yep.
yeah, like so like literally every decade, not that I necessarily changed my group of friends, but it was just seeming like family bonds, you know what I'm saying? Some of those got disconnected, some like lifelong friends, like, but it's been happening. It happened like well into my teens, and then it started happening again like early into my 20s, you know? So it was like every decade. Just a lawnmower, just getting to it.
Um, I forgive. God rest dead. The road ahead. You got to be a man for it.
Nicole's oldest, Traylon Frazier, who survived Cobras. Every decade, just a lawnmower. It's mama first and dad's fourth. I forgive, God rest the dead. The road ahead, you gotta be a man for it.
That line was for my pops.
Okay.
And like that like so again, I'm not gonna like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's my father. I love him. I got respect for him. I'm not gonna lay it all out there, but
Yeah. Understand.
men make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And like children have their kids make plans. God laughs, you know what I'm saying? He chuckles, and then we do the best we can with it. So it's like my pops tried his best until the day he had passed away to like incorporate just his presence into my life, and I always appreciated him for that. And I hope he knows that I forgive him, you know what I'm saying? Because me and my mom do, obviously, like, but yeah. And like I just know what he was supposed to impart on me had he like got to be there, like just being stead focused or like just being a man. Like I don't want people to take like the wrong approach to me saying that like the road ahead, you gotta be a man for it. It's not necessarily on some like steak and potatoes, you don't cry, never do that. But like you gotta be tough. You gotta be mentally prepared for like what, especially what I got planned, you know what I'm saying? Just being in this art space and shit. Like takes
Yeah.
a lot of mental fortitude and heart. You got some heart. A lot of motherfuckers don't got heart.
Yeah. All right. The last, I'm gonna read the last three lines. At the heart, I know who love us. I play my part like my brother. You just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like my little brother, he's been such a he was born when I was 15, which is the same age my mom had me. And it it does play into that whole like road ahead, you gotta be a man for it, because he's 8 years old now. And like there was like such a surge and like sense of responsibility like when he was born, that like a lot of like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of like hate and like ill will that I did hold towards like my dad and like his pops, and like there's a lot of men in my life who were supposed to like be kind of like that role model figure. Like he showed me that all those things were like in me, because I was very worried while my mom was pregnant. I'm like, I didn't feel like I was gonna be like the best big brother. Like I didn't feel like a good example. But like once I seen him, once he was in the house and like teaching them things, I'm like, oh yeah, like I got this. Like it's instilled. I'm good. Like I know how to raise this young man. You know what I'm saying?
Blood diamonds in my easy chair. Don't check the line and what's behind it. Gotta meet me there. We all business to the people square. It's just pimping, no love in here. It gets no play. The truth double fair. Color the cuts rare. Hug me, brother, I'm scared. The world let your enemy work his paw bare. I stay away from drugs. Tell them wave a hand in the air. They brought the hand for suspicion. Who brought the law in here? Life revolve around science like a fucking fair. Caged in a den of lion signs say don't touch my head. Like salons behind it. I be doing all the work, I grew up blind, I was scared